G'day guys, if you're watching this video today it's probably because you've got a Pixel 4a that has got a cracked screen, the same as this one. So if I take this film off here, as you can see, we are quite smashed. So luckily for us, these are pretty straightforward to repair. So what we're going to be doing here is taking this off, make sure your device is switched off, and we actually do the whole repair from the front. So looking at this here, the replacement part, as you can see, we have one flex connector that we located down here, and that's really it. This blue heat mat here has been sitting at 75 degrees Celsius now for about 5 minutes, heating up the phone. So hopefully, with a bit of luck and the right tools, we can get in there. So I'm just using a thin metal pry tool just to go around the outer perimeter, which will hopefully enable me to lift the screen out pretty easily from there. If it doesn't, well, I guess we'll battle it, but we'll just see how we go to begin with. Now, try and go this way. Excellent. Now if I'm going to twist this, there is a mesh or metal speaker grill here that wants to stay, so I'll let him stay there. There we go, and that's just released it. So from there, if I wiggle up from the bottom, I'd say highly likely this screen has just been removed without actually any damage to the OLED display itself. Once we get to this stage, I'm going to take this mesh or this little cover off here, just tape down. Don't be too concerned if you rip it. There we go. And next up from here, we look to need a T4, T5 screwdriver. What have I got here? I've got a T4 in my hand. We are too big. I guess we're going to be a T3. Pull out my whole collection that I've got and let's get looking. Actually, what have we got here? T5. And T5, we are spinning. One T5 screw. Another T5 screw. Weirdly, that second one that I just took out seemed to be on a slight angle, which makes me skeptical of the screen if it's been replaced once before. Next up, little bracket comes out. Little shield. And next up, we take this off of our fingernail. One screen removed. Next up from here, we got to clean up the glass from the frame, as you don't want to leave any of that still there. Otherwise you're at a pretty high risk of damaging your new screen when you go to install it. So I'm just going to go around the outer perimeter with a flathead screwdriver. That should enable it to remove the majority of the adhesive and the leftover glass. My method of after this will be to glue it in using some B7000 frame adhesive, which I find does a usually pretty good job of staying stuck. Do note, do make sure you still keep your mesh grill at the top there, as it will certainly suck if you lose that. Not like it really stops too much, but if it's there, it might as well be useful. Second time around. Now, here's where I've got to be a bit careful. Strangely enough, it seems to be staying there reasonably well. So I'll just ignore it and keep going around again. Pass go, collect $200. Now next up, you probably want to go over it with a toothbrush, just to make sure there is no glass left in there. Mostly happy with how much has been removed there. You still see one piece there. I think we're good now. Looking pretty good. Now we'll go over it one last time. Sweet, I'm pretty happy with that now. Next up from here, some frame adhesive. And as I look back, I've accidentally knocked off my speaker grill. Highly likely it's going to happen to you guys too. Luckily for me, I can see it. We are sitting right here. Turn that around, it looks like it only goes one way. So we'll put him back here. Or thereabouts. Now from here, some frame adhesive. I only want to put down a light bead of it. It really doesn't need too much at all, as this stuff is pretty sticky. Or at least it becomes that when it fully cures. This way too. Go. There we are. Next up from here, I want to take the backing tape off. Or at least try to. There we go. Now it's leaving. 1 second. Next up, we want to reconnect it. Now this may be a little bit hard for me to capture on film for you guys. Go. Now I am just having a look at the original connector, which if it stops wobbling you can see it has a slight kink to it. So I do want to emulate that kind of kink. Go like that to begin with. And I'll use the flathead screwdriver to try and click it on. I'm pretty happy with that. Can't quite see it from your angle, but that did make a little bit of a crunch click when I connected it. Next up, the bracket, or shield, whatever you want to call it. I'd accept either of those. There we go. Luckily the T5 of mine is magnetised. Okay, just a couple of screws. It doesn't really need to be super tight. So we are nearing the last stretch of this. go. I'm pretty happy with that. Now I should just be able to line this up nice and straight. Make sure that speaker grill is in a good spot. It may need to be wiggled over. As you can see with mine. So we can use a pair or the flathead just to try and slide it along. I'll lift the screen up slightly. Wiggle it down. Just a bit of a nudge. There we go, that lines up much better than it previously did. It should be a matter of just pushing it in lightly around the outer perimeter. Work your way around to make sure it's nice and flush. If you've used frame adhesive, what you can do from here is just put some lacquer band around it or leave it on a heat source like I'm going to do. Just make sure it is sitting nice and flush with the frame of the phone. Hit the power button and hopefully we see that. So from here, I'm just going to leave this face down on here, let the adhesive do its job. I'm just going to give it a quick test off camera, but that should be how you can replace, or should be how you replace the screen on your Google Pixel 4. I hope this helps you guys, and I'll catch you guys in another video. Bye.